You're listening to an archived Cabral Concept podcast. After listening to this show, check out the most up-to-date podcasts available at stephencabral.com/podcasts or search directly on iTunes. And now, welcome to the Cabral Concept, where board-certified naturopath and integrative health practitioner Dr. Stephen Cabral shares how he was diagnosed at the age of 17 with a life-altering illness and given no hope for recovery. It was only after studying and traveling all over the world did he discover how to combine ancient Ayurvedic healing practices with state-of-the-art naturopathic and functional medicine to fully rebalance the body and re-energize it with life. It's time to discover how to get well, lose weight, and finally feel alive again. And now, here's your host, Dr. Stephen Cabral.
We are about to get started with part 2 of our Cabral House Calls. Yesterday, hopefully you got to tune in. That was episode 645, where we answered many of our community's questions. As always, love being given the opportunity to try to give back, try to serve and answer our community's questions. And they're all things on wellness, weight loss, anti-aging. We talked about low libido yesterday. We talked about acne. We talked about digestive issues. We talked about lymphedema. I mean, so many great topics came up. Really excited to answer those. And today's show is going to be no different. Well, we're going to talk about different topics, but we're going to talk about people who just basically, they're looking for a place to start. Whether it's a lifestyle change, whether it's just a mindset shift, a nutritional supplement, which lab should they run? And also, if I've answered the question in the past, I'm just going to link up to a previous podcast. For all of the show notes, just go to stephencabral.com/646. That's the easiest thing to do. Just follow along there as you're maybe listening to the show. Go to stephencabral.com/646, and you'll be able to see all of the links, whether it's for previous episodes, or maybe it's a product or a nutritional supplement or a lab test or a company that I like, whatever it might be. We'll try to put it right up there, okay? Make your life a little easier. So the first question I'm going to get right into is from Rebecca. She is asking, "Hi, Dr. Cabral. I'm in the middle of doing the 21-day Dr. Cabral detox. After the first week, my menstrual period came, and it was a week earlier than I was expecting it. My periods are usually pretty predictable, every 28 to 30 days. Can you explain why this happened during the detox? Thanks." So, Rebecca, this is not something that's common that happens, but it has happened before, so it's not completely uncommon, meaning that we've seen it before. And the truth is that this can happen on any real functional medicine detox, and that's because you're actually taking in less calories. You're making a shift in your lifestyle, and the way that you live your life and all those things goes along with your natural rhythm. And your natural rhythm can actually be thrown off during a detox. This isn't necessarily a bad thing, because what we're trying to do is re-regulate the body. But what happens is, because there is a caloric deficit those first 2 days when we're doing the 4 shakes per day for those 2 days, what we're trying to do is actually balance estrogen, balance progesterone, balance inflammation, balance blood sugar, balance all hormones in the long run. But in the short term, the body's re-regulating itself. And so what we typically see is your cycle pretty much go back to normal within about 1 to 2 more cycles maximum. This doesn't really affect your internal workings or how your body works or fertility or really anything like that. But the other thing too is sometimes it's just a coincidence, meaning that you were going through a particularly stressful time and that contributed then to doing more of a detox and all these other things. So we can never know for sure, but I can tell you that it re-regulates pretty quick, especially as you're getting healthier, which of course the detox is looking to do. Always feel free to let us know. And even join CabralSupportGroup.com, which is our free support group. It's a private Facebook group for positive people looking to do positive things in their life. So hopefully we'll connect there as well. Lindsey's up next. What is your opinion on ingesting food-grade Diatomaceous Earth for health benefits such as improved hair, skin, and nails due to the high silica content, removal of parasites, etc.? Thank you. Okay, couple things, Lindsey. So I have talked about Diatomaceous Earth, aka DE, on many, many shows. So what I'd like to do is link that up in the podcast. Show notes, just go to stephencabral.com/646 today. But you can also just do this. Go to stephencabral.com/podcast. Anytime you have a question in the future, just type it in at the little search bar. And for this case, you would type in Diatomaceous Earth or DE and see which shows pop up. And then you'll be immediately able to listen to those shows. So that's an easy way to do it. I'm going to link up. So just the really short-term answer, I am not opposed. I don't usually need to recommend it, to be honest, the Diatomaceous Earth. I don't think I've ever recommended it, but I've never been against it. So I'm for it for the short term. Anywhere between 3 weeks and 6 weeks, totally fine. Now, the reason you don't have to keep doing it to get your silica is that you can get your silica from natural spring water, and you can get your silica from something called Shilajit, which I've recommended before. on previous Friday reviews. So that's a great product as well in Ayurveda. And yes, you can get that mineral in other ways as well. It doesn't have to be from Diatomaceous Earth, which is more of a cleansing-based product. And I don't recommend that you're always cleansing your intestines every day of the year. So good for short-term use. I don't see it as something that you necessarily need to use on a daily basis. Okay, we'll link that up though in the show notes for you. Priscilla is up next. Hi, Dr. Cabral. When my son was 3.5 about 2 years ago, so that makes him 5.5, his eyes started to turn in. As it only happened every few days, it was constant. We saw many different doctors with different opinions and finally found a functional medicine doctor, chiropractor. He put us on a plant-based, gluten-free, and dairy-free diet. We have seen improvements, but very slow. Wondering if this is something you have ever heard about and what you would advise. Thanks so much. Okay, so Priscilla, I don't know if you asked this question. I think it was you. It was on a previous Cabral HouseCall. And so maybe you just didn't tune in and hear your question answered, but it was answered a few weeks ago. So what I'd like to do is get you that answer now, like the episode now, because I can't re-answer the same question, but this does seem neurological based. And I spoke about the neurology of this before. And that's why by doing plant-based, by doing gluten-free, by doing dairy-free, you've already started to lower inflammation. But now we need to see what else is affecting the nervous system of the body. Is it a yeast? Is it a fungal overgrowth? Is it a mold toxicity? Is it a heavy metal? Those types of things. Doing a hair tissue mineral analysis, doing an organic acids test, those types of things will help. But let me link up to that in the show notes. So Priscilla, it is episode 610, and I talk about esotropia and what your son is going through right now. I do hope it was a good answer for you. And maybe you just wrote in a little later as well, even before I answered your question, which probably is a good segue for me to talk about that. I'm not able to answer questions for about 3 weeks or so after they come in. And it's only because it's on a first come, first serve basis. And I'm always about 3 weeks behind because there's so many questions that do come in. So hopefully that answers your question. And if not, you can always, of course, write back in and I'm happy to help. Okay, Sandy's up next. Confused about apple cider vinegar. Some say it's very beneficial to take before meals, and others warn it is not good to take on a regular basis. What is your thought on this issue? Thanks for your sincere dedication to helping as many people as possible to better health. Thanks, Sandy. Appreciate it. So you have to understand that everything in the world is not black and white. It's typically gray. So that means that one thing that's good for one person isn't always good for another. Like that's just the bottom line. Like sometimes ascorbic acid is good and sometimes it's not. Like it's just not. Like sometimes a food grade is better. So you have to look at it that. And apple cider vinegar, just to throw that out there, it's not a food. It's not food. It's a supplement, right? Apple cider vinegar is a fermented juice, essentially. It's not a food. It's a supplement. So since it's a supplement, it can't be good for everyone, right? That's just kind of the way that life works. It's very beneficial for those people who maybe have acid reflux and it's because of low stomach acid. So how would you test that? Well, you would simply use a little bit before a meal or during a meal. You would just add about 2 ounces to about 6 ounces of warm water or just some lemon water, and you would sip it during a meal. And if that helps with digestion, well, it's because it's acidifying your stomach and acidifying the food and it's helping to break down the food a little bit better. It also mixes nice with ginger tea. Now, if it gives you more acid reflux, well, now you're looking at it's because you might have histamine-based issues or you might have too much stomach acid. So, of course, 2 different people, 2 different results, right? One low stomach acid, one high stomach acid. But honestly, it's a pretty easy test, right? You just use some apple cider vinegar. I also don't recommend it for people on my Candida and bacterial overgrowth protocol because I don't recommend any fermented foods on that protocol because they can also ferment or feed yeast. And so we're not going to do that for people with yeast. Now, could it be fine for them after the 6 to 12 weeks when they're reintroducing foods in the Candida and bacterial overgrowth protocol? Yes, but not at first because not everything is good for you at first. No fermented foods on that. Why? Because we're trying to remove excess bacteria such as SIBO in people with Crohn's, colitis, SIBO, IBS, Candida, and yeast overgrowth. And so we don't want to feed it in the beginning, right? So prebiotics don't make any sense. I don't recommend it. Yeah, well, I mean, for the most part, it turns alkaline in the body because of all of its minerals and its acid in the stomach. So, I don't have a big feeling one way or another, except to say that I don't ever recommend it on a daily basis because it's not one of my top tier supplements. Like my top tier supplements are a good activated multivitamin, which is what a daily nutritional support shake is as well, but it just has the 15 grams of vegan protein in it. And I recommend the daily fruit and vegetable blend because it's 22 organic fruits and vegetables. And then I'm usually recommending my daily probiotic support. But again, you'd use the daily probiotic support when you've corrected all of your gut-based issues or you don't have any bloating, you don't have any gas, you don't have any issues with that. So yeah, hopefully that helps. And again, like you can see why I can't give one staunch answer one way or the other. But again, low stomach acid, trouble digesting food, it can be tremendous. High stomach acid, histamine-based issues, causes acid reflux. Well, then not good for that person. All right, hopefully that helps. Let's move on to Courtney's question. Hi, Dr. Cabral and staff. My name is Courtney, and I've recently started listening to your podcast. I love the house calls, and I've been considering sending in my questions there, but you always remind us how much longer it will take to get a response. Well, have a big problem. Weight gain in the past couple of years, 10 to 15 pounds. I'm 5'1", and 10 pounds looks like a lot more for my height. I've really struggled trying to figure out what I'm doing wrong. I'm on birth control, which currently helps for my acne, but I've struggled in the past and has recently started to clear up a lot. I switched to an IUD, which I've recently taken out due to difficulties. I'm back on the pill. I lost weight with the IUD very quickly after insertion, and then it came back almost immediately after switching the pill. I recently switched the lowest dose of estrogen pill that they offer in hopes that the estrogen is my issue. I've considered stopping the pill altogether, but I'm afraid it will make my acne flare up. In addition, I eat fairly healthy and I work out 3 to 5 days a week. If you have any suggestions to offer, I would really appreciate it. Thank you for all you do. Okay, so a couple things. I've spoken about acne in depth on previous shows. So what I would like you to do is this, Courtney, is go to stephencabral.com/podcast. And I want you to type in acne, because I give acne diets. I give acne solutions for the face on cleansing the face. But really what I want you to do is this, is if you want to stay on birth control because you want to use it as a contraceptive, my recommendation is to rotate birth controls even every couple months as needed to find the one for you that doesn't cause the weight gain, but still gives you the contraceptive effects that you are looking for. So the other thing is, I want to find out what's really happened over the last couple of years in addition to the birth control, meaning like, have you increased stress? What does your overall nutrition look like? If you're working out 3 to 5 days a week, do you have a good rhythm going with the body? I would also start to do a little bit more detoxification. I would do the manual lymphatic drainage, whether it's dry brushing or self-massage. I would do sauna to get more sweating, to get all that excess stuff out of you. And there's no doubt in my mind, I would do the 21-day Dr. Cabral detox. Hands down, my number one recommendation for you to really learn to eat how we want you to eat, to start to remove just all these toxicities. Remember, stored plastics in your body, right, that we're getting from the environment. All of these stored toxins, cosmetics, all of these things are absorbed through your skin, right? The average woman is getting more than 26 cancer-causing toxic chemicals through the cosmetics that they're wearing every single day. So that's my recommendation for you right now. Start with the 21-day detox. If it's not enough, then we'll probably want to do the adrenal and hormone panel for you to see if this is an estrogen-based issue. And if it is, well, we need to then either come off the birth control, switch birth controls, and then really work this from the ground up. So, Courtney, that's the place to get started, but I know that we'll be helping you in the future. Take care. Okay, so our next question comes in from Mark. He writes in, I first discovered Dr. Cabral via a podcast search, and I'm a subscriber to the Cabral concept. I'm writing to share information about myself and determine which Dr. Cabral protocols may be best for me. About me, 53 years old, 6'3", 235 pounds, which I believe is about 30 pounds overweight. I'm a 29.4 BMI, currently taking some prescription drugs and allergy medications. I use a CPAP machine to manage sleep apnea. I have osteoarthritis. On a scale of 1 to 10, my eating habits are about a 6. Not enough vegetables. Ice cream is my kryptonite. I found that I adhere to a 16-8 fast pretty easily. And I've been doing this for about 4 months. I lost 11 pounds pretty quickly, but have gained about 5 pounds back. I do not drink alcohol, but wonder if sugar is the replacement addiction that occurred when I quit drinking. I do not smoke. I was drinking too much Diet Cola, but recently quit. Exercising, but had a rotator cuff surgery, so I'm limited. I'd like to get a handle on my nutrition, but not sure where to start. What might you suggest in terms of a process for starting over? Should I assess, plan, implement? If so, which assessment? Thank you for sharing your expertise. I look forward to hearing from you, Mark. Okay, Mark, very, very easy way for us to get started is this, is before you decide to run some functional medicine lab tests and whatever else might be going on, I want you to get your body healthier, okay? So my highest recommendation and my only recommendation to you is the 21-day Dr. Cabral detox. That's it. One is because it really costs no money at all if you compare it to buying food. I mean, 2 days each week is going to be 4 shakes, so you save your money there and you save your money on every breakfast and every mid-afternoon snack. But This isn't about trying to save money. This is about you getting healthy. So hands down, that's my number one thing, because I do agree with you. I think there's a sugar-based issue here, because if you're doing a 16 hours of no eating, 8 hours of eating, and you've only lost 11 pounds, and you were 6'3", weigh about 235 pounds, well, there's something going on with your nutrition. That's the bottom line. And I know that with the Dr. Cabral Detox, we can help you lose at least another 10 to 15 pounds on that in the 21 days. So I'm looking forward to hearing those results. Love to have you post your results in the Cabral support group, cabralsupportgroup.com. After you do that, then we can give you additional recommendations, such as running an organic acids test by Great Plain Labs. We'll link up to that in the show notes. Again, just go to stephencabral.com/646 today. So I'll put that in there. That will be my recommendation. And then we'll see how you're doing after that. I know that you're on a lot of different medications, and we can certainly help you with that without a doubt. And well, you can do your food sensitivity before you do your Dr. Cabral Detox. But if you want to find out if your body's holding inflammation because of the ice cream and those types of things, then you'll run your food sensitivity after introducing that back into your diet. And I think you'll find that you are. So that's making you hold on to more inflammatory water weight. All right. So Mark, 21-day Dr. Cabral Detox, hands down, that's the place to start. Laura is up next. Hi, Dr. Cabral. Thank you for all the information you share in your podcast. I always go to it when I need some inspiration. When I'm having a bad day and not feeling well. I'm 35 years old and was diagnosed with Sjögren's syndrome about 4 years ago. I suffer from dry eyes, aches all over the body, joints, muscles, POTS, which is POTS syndrome, which I had back in the day. Arms and legs fall asleep easily, exhaustion, inability to exercise, etc. It's difficult to be so young and feel like I'm 90. I totally understand what you're saying, Laura. It's also difficult to feel so differently than just a few years ago when I was running 4 miles a day. I miss the feeling of waking up or feeling refreshed after exercise. The other piece that has been difficult is that I want to have a family. I haven't found the right guy for me. And I think my illness over the last few years has held me back. I've been following many of your suggestions. I don't currently take any medications because I don't have faith that they will truly help me. I eat mainly vegan diet at this point and some fish, lots of green smoothies, omega-3s, daily nutritional supplement, gluten-free, cut out foods that I can tell I'm sensitive to, lots of water, infrared sauna, meditation, etc. I get scared when I see that this is a lifelong condition that progresses. I want to believe that I can get better, but haven't seen that in 4 years. If my immune system has caused damage already to my eye glands and other parts of my body, is this really reversible? What suggestions do you have? Thank you again. Okay, so Laura, I was there and now I'm better. So believe me, it took many years for me to get better, but that's because I didn't have any of the answers. So at 17 years old to about 20 years old, or at least 19 years old, no doctors had any answers for me. And then eventually I found a functional medicine doctor way back in the day, and he did an adrenal hormone test that showed me what I now do today. It shows your cortisol wave and all of those things. And then I found food sensitivity tests, and I found out I had candida overgrowth and SIBO, and I found out I had Addison's disease, and then they would diagnose me with POTS. And so I had it all. I mean, really, I've had all of this. And you say you felt like 90. I completely know what you're saying. Like no energy, couldn't even do like 4 push-ups. It was terrible. So the thing is, you literally have to put your body back together. You need to start as if you had a bunch of just Legos spread all over the floor, and you build back up your own castle piece by piece. That's the way it is. The way that I recommend is the only way that I've really seen work, and I've tried everything. It's you lab test, you find out exactly what's wrong with you, you clear up the heavy metals, you clear up the parasites, you clear up the H. pylori, you clear up the candida, the bacterial overgrowth, whatever's there, you clear it up, okay? You rebuild your HPA axis, which is what people call adrenal fatigue. It's really your stress response. That will take care of your, well, again, I'm not going to say it cures Sjögren's because I can't say that, nor would I, because I don't believe in Sjögren's. Sjögren's is really what we're talking about is a sympathetic nervous system based issue, dries everything up, and well, that's a sympathetic nervous system issue. And if doctors really understood the autonomic nervous system better, they would understand that the parasympathetic is high mucus production and the sympathetic is more dryness because you're not able to produce mucus. Why? Because you're in the sympathetic nervous system. So that's my number one piece of advice. So what would I do? Well, I'd probably run the thyroid plus adrenal plus hormone test, or I would at least run the hair tissue mineral analysis. Then if you're able to spend the money, then I would spend the money on the organic acids test. We'll be able to give you custom recommendations from there. Work on your lifestyle as well, meaning like more sleep, more relaxation. Getting your body back into a rhythm is the biggest thing. Doing the same routine pretty much every single day to not allow extra stress into your life. That is the way that you heal the body. That is the way that you get better. And I know that it already sounds like you're on the right path. I know that you just want to get your answer faster. So hopefully with lab testing, you'll be able to do that. Thank you for writing in, Laura. I appreciate it. And I know you will get better because I was there myself. So I wouldn't say that if it wasn't possible, but it is. All right, let's take one more question today. It's from Anonymous. Hello, Dr. Cabral. Big fan of your podcast and the helpful knowledge and mindset you embody. I'm suffering from some SIBO-related autoimmunity and have a pesky issue I hope you can address. My anus is extremely itchy and is a constant nuisance, even waking me up and causing me to sleep poorly. I've done the parasite testing and I'm negative and assume, pun intended, that the itching is related to SIBO and stomach bacteria food sensitivities. I'm currently completing your bacterial candida SIBO 3-month protocol, but I'm hoping you can help provide some immediate relief for the itchiness and help me get my life back. Thank you for your time and support. Okay, so Anonymous, I actually did a whole house call on this before. Just literally type in itchy anus into StephenCabral.com/podcasts. And I know that some people might be laughing right now, but it's good to laugh. It really is. Like, you have to laugh at some of these health issues that we all deal with, because at the end of the day, we're all humans. We go through some really strange stuff in our life. It is what it is. Like, it's no big deal. We can deal with it. We can overcome it. So yes, this is typically a fungal-based issue. It really is. So if it's a fungal-based issue, it could be topical help and it could be internal. I'm very, very happy that you're doing the Candida and bacterial overgrowth protocol. After you finish your 3-month protocol, I recommend using the CBO finisher, it's called. That's the healthy gut support as well as the probiotic. But I also want you to run an organic acid test. I want to make sure that you took care of yours, because yours sounds like obviously a pretty strong case. But then also, I want to make sure that you don't have food sensitivities. So a lot of people get an itchy anus if they eat nuts, or they have beans, or they have grains, because the lectins give them that food sensitivity. So make sure that yours isn't also food sensitivity related. So you have to test that. When does your anus itch? Is it all the time? If not, then good. That means you're on the right track. Then you know that it's something you're eating, something you're doing that's causing this. Okay. For also topical support, you can use coconut oil right on your anus, and that will help to kill fungus, and it will also help to soothe the area. That helps. Apple cider vinegar, a little bit can help as well before the coconut oil. You would let it dry, then use coconut oil. That acts as a toner, a pH toner. And one more thing that you can do, as long as it's diluted, is use tea tree oil drops. Tea tree oil drops will actually help kill any fungus overgrowth around the anus as well. This will help. So you can do this in the morning when you wake up, and you can do it before bed. If nothing else, just use some coconut oil. So Anonymous, thank you for writing in. I appreciate the questions, and you know that we will be able to give you the answers that you deserve. Thank you everyone for tuning in to another Cabral House Call. Appreciate the questions. Hopefully they helped. I hope you had an amazing weekend, and get ready tomorrow as we go through our Mindset and Motivation Monday, quickly turning into be one of our most popular episodes of the week. Thank you, everyone. Really appreciate it. Take care.
Ever wonder what the best sauna, blue blockers, sleep trackers, wake lights, salt lamps, or other health gadgets are? Or what about the top non-toxic mattresses, sheets, soaps, bath products, toothpaste, and cookware? Or would you like to know the cleanest choices for hemp parts, meal delivery services, supplements, and much more? I personally curated, researched, and now created a resource page of all of my top picks that continues to grow each week. These are the exact products I use in my own life, with my family, in my private practice, and they're the ones I trust. To find out all of my up-to-date recommendations and all the details, simply head on over to StephenCabral.com/resources.